Alright, what's up everyone? So today we have Matt Probst. He is a PA here in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and he's doing a ton for our community, and he's doing a great job with just keeping our community safe throughout this whole pandemic. And we'd just like to ask him a few questions, and yeah, see you guys like it. Alright, so what influenced you to pursue a health career?
Alright, Andres. Well, it is a very roundabout journey for me. I did not start out in healthcare. For any of you that's seen the Providers documentary, you know I was a pretty troubled youth. I'm from northern New Mexico, and you know we know here in northern New Mexico we have a lot of adverse childhood events. It's very common to have adverse childhood events in our families, our youth, and I was no exception to that. So yeah, you know, so 9 out of 10 ACEs, for those of you that know what ACEs are, adverse childhood events, that was my life growing up. And yeah, I mean, I was like Andres. I think I was a smart guy and had a lot of opportunity, but many hurdles to start off, and was taking the wrong paths, and you know, could have easily landed up in jail or dead as a young person. But thankfully was able to find a better path with some good mentorship. So I think mentorship is such an important thing. So I think mentorship would be one of those things that influenced me. You know, once I kind of came around and found my way, I wanted to commit my life to helping people, to trying to make it better. I mean, it's really kind of the point, and a roundabout path, but really just committing my life to, you know, waking up every day and trying to say, well, how could I help this situation? Was really the start. And eventually, so I became a personal trainer. That was my first kind of health degree, and I was doing that. I started teaching classes at the Santa Fe Community College. And then eventually, with those classes, I found my passion. I much preferred senior strength training for senior citizens compared to things like bodybuilding or boot camp fitness. You know, those were fun for my workout, but in terms of my clients and what I felt from, you know, in terms of the reward of helping people, what a difference. Say you have a senior who's, you know, as a health professional, you ask, well, what's your health goal? What's your goal? You know, that's the job of a personal trainer, to ask the client. And when the client says, well, I want to be able to go to the grocery store by myself, or I want to be able to get up on my own after I've been kneeling down in church. You know, those goals to me were, you know, much more exciting to help people get to than, oh, I want to be able to, you know, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to put on 10 pounds of muscle. You know, just
hit that 315 on bench.
So I mean, that was really the kind of the start of it. And then so then I started looking for a health profession as a career next step, and I thought, well, maybe physical therapy. I actually got a job in a physical therapy clinic as a clinical exercise specialist. And so I was able to use my personal training skills. Basically, clients would transition from PT to now, you know, okay, well, you're done with your physical therapy to restore you to function, but now you have other goals and you want to continue like on the fitness center side. So that transition. So I thought PT was exciting. I started a search looking for PT programs, so where I wouldn't have to move. I really just, you know, always wanted to be in northern New Mexico. At that time I was living in Santa Fe, and I was helping take care of my grandparents at the end of their life, and had those responsibilities, and blessings from doing that. It was mutual. Yeah, so I found, doing online searches, looking for programs, I found at that time through the University of New Mexico, there was a satellite PA program in Espanola. And so in Espanola, New Mexico, so wow, that looked exciting. You know, I didn't have to move anywhere. So once I started finding out what a PA was, at that time I didn't even know what a PA was. And saw that, wow, it's really versatile. You can do, yes, definitely physical health and things, you know, not exactly physical therapy, but you can be involved. You can be a sports medicine PA, for example. but there's so many other. You could do surgery, you could do, you know, family medicine. It was wide open, pediatrics.
Yeah.
So I decided to apply, and yeah, by the time I got in, it took a while. You know, it's not an easy thing to get into PA school or med school, very competitive, but I made a waiting list, and then by the time I was accepted at UNM, they closed the satellite program. So now I was going to Albuquerque, but I decided not to move. I commuted from Santa Fe to Albuquerque during school, so I could continue to be there for my grandparents.
Well, that's great. Yeah, for sure. Well, so like, what advice would you have for those who are pursuing to become a PA?
You know, like I say in the Providers documentary, and I give these talks to you know, incoming ed school students, PA students, future health professional students. Healthcare is much more of a vocation than a career. You know, it's a calling.
Right.
So, you know, something very common that I've seen since I was your age is when you ask someone, well, what do you want to do, or what do you want to be? You know, they say, I want to be this or that, and then you ask why, and they say, well, because you can earn really good money, or it's like, so, you know, if you start there as a reason why you're gonna go into healthcare, you should probably it's probably not for you. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, you can make a good living and support your family in healthcare. I mean, I think, you know, here we are in your dad's clinic, and you know, I think this is a perfect example, you know, whether it's dentistry or being a PA or a doc, a nurse, you know, so many health careers, you can make a good living, but it's there's a lot of sacrifice. There's emotional sacrifice, there's you know, the hours are usually not set. There's a lot that comes with caring for people, and so I think the first thing is to really, you know, soul search and say, is this what I want to do? Care for people. And the way to do that, I think the best way to do that is by doing shadowing experiences. You know, if you can get some shadowing experiences in, get some clinical rotations in, talk to health professionals, a variety of them. You know, again, like for me, it took, you know, I thought PT, but you know, I didn't even know what PA was, and there was a really great PA in Santa Fe at that time, Greg Maroney. He was actually worked for the Indian Hospital, and also helped with the Indian school in their sports programs, and I knew him from the personal training world. Right. And so yeah, I think, you know, getting, you know, seeing it, trying to experience that, and then talking to people that actually do it will help you find your way.
Oh, that's great. All right, so what do you love about being a PA?
Just that. I mean, the main thing is, you know, so my motto is live to serve, and I think everyone can do that, regardless of what career you're in. Everyone. Right now with COVID, I mean, I think that's our biggest weapon against COVID, is everyone waking up every morning and saying, instead of going into negativity, or being polarized, or you know, it's like, how can I serve today? What thing can I do, whether it's in business or it's in whatever field you're in, even if you're retired, you know, I would even say MIB prayer, you know, whatever it is, there's so many ways. How can I help? And you know, what can I do to serve today? You know, we wake up, you look in the mirror, and you ask yourself that question to start every day. And in being a PA, there's endless opportunities to serve, and it is very versatile. So the part about being a PA, I think, though, that I love the most is workforce development. Youth medicine is my passion, and so, you know, that's why I'm here with you today. You know, busy guy, but you know, when it comes to being able to help youth that are trying to follow that path, to me, that's the most exciting thing, and that's healthcare.
Right. And I know, if like, I can speak for myself, but like, I know a lot of my peers really appreciate your contribution into helping us realize like what's in the medical field and how we can help. And so, you know, thank you for that again.
Yeah, of course. You know, and pretty much every time I have a chance to talk to a young person, whether it's one-on-one or in a class, you know, I always kind of leave it as like, okay, you're yes, you're future health professionals. It's gonna be a while before you get your license, but pay it forward. In other words, if you really think you want to be a health professional, don't wait. Like, what can you do when you go home today? Whatever I taught you, who are you going to share this with? Are you going to go home and talk to your family? Maybe we talked about cardiovascular health and you're worried about a family member. Or you want to create better habits in your peers or in your family, that, you know, younger ones that look up to you. Right. And you don't have to wait to really serve health care. You can do that. Everyone can do that. So that's always that, pay it forward. Right. So that day will come where you're where I am, and there's some young person where you are. Yeah. And that's what's going to make the difference in the health of our communities in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, what's like a typical day like for a PA?
Well, you know, one of the things I'd say, there's so many different things you can do. Just like as a physician, there's so many different things you can do as a PA. So, I mean, I always joke, you know, poor derm. I have a good friend that does dermatology, and you know, you can have a career that is more set hours and country club on Friday, and you know, you can find those careers. So, you know, don't get me wrong, it doesn't all have to be you know, this like, you know, really heavy in-depth vocation that's, you know, takes a lot of time. But I'll talk about what I do, which is family medicine, community medicine. So Dr. Art Kaufman who coined that phrase, you know, community medicine's next level. And so it doesn't really turn on or turn off. I mean, you know, to me, it's not an 8 to 5 job at all. So, you know, whether that's the things that I'm doing, coaching, the things that I'm doing to help, you know, youth through the church, the things I'm doing just to help neighbors and friends. Healthcare, community medicine, to me, the definition is that healthcare doesn't stop at the door of a clinic. It's out in the community as well. And so, so I think, you know, all of that makes an impact. I've often said, you know, some of the experiences that I've had on sidelines, you know, I might, in the long picture of things, in classrooms, in the long picture of things, you know, it'll be interesting. At the end of the day, in terms of my service, will I have done more inside of the clinic or outside of the clinic? Maybe outside of the clinic, you know. Those relationships that you build, you know, through coaching, those relationships that you build through mentoring, over the long run, through teaching. You know, I always talk about Miss Ortiz, you know, you know, to try and measure, well, what kind of impact did you make? She's maybe made, I know at one time she was going to go to medical school. She chose teaching as a career. And I think the value of her as a teacher and how many young people she's inspired.
She inspired me greatly to pursue medicine.
Yeah, how many future health professionals did she grow? So in the big picture of things, you could be one person, or you could have grown hundreds that grew thousands and force multiplied exponentially. And so, but in terms of what happens in the clinic, it's, you know, very similar, you know, healthcare providers on the medical side. So whether you're a PA, a nurse practitioner, or a physician, at least in family medicine or community medicine, your job is very similar. So it really is about healthcare as a relationship with your patients. And so being a primary care provider is about caring for patients, and, you know, a wide variety of things that you do. That could be, you know, things like sports physicals, and that could be things like minor surgeries and treating chronic illness. Behavioral health is a huge part of it. You know, I talked earlier about adverse childhood experiences. You know, right now with COVID-19, I would say that at least equally important in healthcare to testing and treating COVID-19 is the diseases of despair that are being compounded by COVID-19. So increased depression, that increases suicide, that increases substance misuse, which can increase overdose. You know, even just lack of physical activity can increase obesity, can increase cardiovascular health. So I think that it's the one thing that I would say, and one of the things I know how school is and how we learn. I think UNM is great. The med program is awesome. because there are different styles of learning, but it's not, you know, it's not cookie cutter. There's not just, okay, well, I'm dealing with hypertension. I'm dealing with diabetes.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with substance misuse. They all overlap, including COVID now, as kind of, I describe it kind of like the wolf pack of disease, and now there's a new wolf in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the thing about a pack, is that they give each other strength. And so for us, whether that's healthcare providers, dental, medical, behavioral health, you know, at different times we all do a little bit of what each other do.
Yeah.
You know, I'll have a patient coming in that says they have, you know, tooth pain. And, you know, I'm not a dentist, but, you know, I'm definitely doing an oral exam or parts of that, and making referrals when I need to. Definitely on the behavioral health, screening for depression. You know, that's important as a medical provider, and vice versa. I know here, you know, with your dad, I'm sure there's times that I know they check folks' blood pressure, and then they're, you know, making referrals, and the same thing on the behavioral health side. You know, somebody saying they have chest pain. Is that anxiety or is that something else? So, you know, it's about integrating, and the wonderful thing about that is that I love sports. And so that analogy is, it's a team sport, and it's all of us together, not just medical providers and nurses and docs, PAs and nurse practitioners, but dental providers, behavioral health providers, and just and the patient, right? So the point is, we're the sheepdog pack, right? That's the wolf pack, and we're a sheepdog pack, and we give each other strength, and when we're all working together, we can do a lot of good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that's great. That was a great analogy. I've never thought about it that way, but that's great. But is there anything else that you would like to say to the audience, or any message that you would like to say to our community, or just anything else?
I think just, you know, right now at this time, we need probably more than ever hope. You know, we're so used to, as a country, having so many victories. Things come easy, you know, and we tend to measure success as victories, wins. Success is wins in the win column, right? Success is trophies, championships, whatever that thing is. And so when there are hard times, natural disasters, crises, pandemics, economic downfall or free fall like we're experiencing, measuring success should not only be measured by wins. So, you know, I kind of use that sports analogy. So sometimes you're undefeated, and that's awesome, and you put in a lot of hard work to be there and get all those victories. Well, sometimes you put in even more effort just to get a tie, you know, and so, you know, there's this time where you're pushing on something and it moves really easy, and you're moving forward. Well, there's sometimes you're pushing on something with everything you've got, and it's not moving, and it might feel like a disappointment, but hey, if you weren't pushing, that thing would be sliding backwards. Right. So think about that as a victory. Right. And then there's also times in life, personal life, where I think, you know, it can be for a community or for a country, where you're pushing as hard as you can and things are sliding backwards. And, you know, at the end of the day, maybe the scoreboard says 48-0 and you lost. But, you know, you didn't lose, you didn't get blown out, you know, you didn't, it wasn't over by more than 50 points, and the game didn't end in the third quarter. The mercy rule. The mercy rule didn't kick in. You finished the game, and again, you were pushing as hard as you could, giving it everything you had, and you didn't win. But if you weren't pushing, yes, it slid back a lot, but if you weren't there pushing, it would have fallen off the cliff. And so, you know, I think that's where we're at right now. So things aren't coming easy, and we're not really used to that as a country or as a community sometimes, but it takes all of our effort. And, you know, might be a little optimistic to say the half full part of the glass, but you know, in the end it says, like I say, my motto is live to serve. You know, the outcome of that service, only so much of that can I control. Right. Victory is in serving. And so yeah, I think that's what it takes. And so for those of you future health professionals or community members, you know, for everyone out there, you know, what can you do to serve today? And I think that in and of itself is healthcare. That in and of itself is therapeutic, not only for you, but for everyone around you. And when we're all doing that together, we can make a huge difference.
All right, well, thank you so much for meeting with us, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll leave a link down in the description for Matt Probst, his Providers film that he was part of, and I'll leave a link to his Facebook so you guys can go check him out, or if you have any questions, you could just, ask him. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one.